Hey guys, FeralInferno back with another Xenoblade 2 art book. This time we have an import from Japan. This is the Xenoblade 2 official artworks Alrest records. This differs from the art book that was included in the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 special edition. This book has a beautiful jacket on it with a little slip here that we're going to take off. I'll peel this right off here very carefully. And it has another slip cover on here with this wonderful artwork. We're going to take a quick look at that and take it off. And we'll slip that off. And you'll see that the same artwork is underneath the slip cover, so in case something happens to it, you still have the artwork intact. We have Mithra and Pyra on here, and this was custom artwork done just for this art book. These two characters were my favorite characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I'm really happy that they had them have center stage on this cover. With that said, let's take a look at the book. One big difference here from the special edition is that this book contains artwork for the DLC Torna, the Golden Country. We start with one of the most iconic images in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and one of the first images we saw when the game was announced. Another classic image here. And one thing I don't like about some of the art in this book is that they cover 2 pages and it's kind of hard to see with the binding, but they don't do that too often. We have more artwork here. On the right hand side, we have the special edition cover. Really love the artwork they used for the special edition. We have some artwork here for Torna, the Golden Country DLC. Kind of cool they put this towards the beginning of the book just to show like, hey, there is some Torna artwork here. It's not just the main game. Here we have an ominous picture of Malos staring off at a city. And with these landscape pictures done, we'll reorient the book back to its position. We have some more artwork of Pyra and Mithra here, and also one with Rex, their driver. Really love this artwork that they're showing off here in the book. We have another piece of artwork here that covers 2 pages of a big portion of the characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I really love the different shades and deep blues of the sky and the clouds in this artwork. Another iconic set of poses for Pyra and Mithra, showcasing their poses for some statues that were made in Japan and that you can get imported here, but they're very expensive. And some custom artwork that was made for this book, the cover and the back cover. Taking another look at that front cover, and we'll get a closer look at that back cover at the end of the book. Here we have some fun artwork of Nia on the left, and on the right, Theory and Praxis. Continuing the beach theme, we have Pyra, Mithra, and Numa in the water. This is a really fun photo of the 3 of them together. And now, we're on to the characters section of the art book. My favorite section, and by far the largest section of the book. This section starts off with some character relationship mapping. All the text is in Japanese, so you can't really read it unless you know Japanese. Feel free to pause it and take a look. But it's still kind of cool to kind of look and see some of the mappings that they show here for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and for the DLC Torna, the Golden Country. First up, we have Rex, one of the main characters of the game, in his diver outfit and his driver outfit. That kind of rhymes. But I really like his driver outfit. Both are pretty cool, but that driver outfit's really, really cool. Here's some alternate designs and sketches of Rex. And next we've got Pyra. One of my favorite characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and one of my favorite characters in video games in general. Really loved her character, very interesting, and quite powerful too. We have her counterpart, Mithra, next. On the right hand side we see that we have her uncensored and censored outfits. I guess it was just too much for North America to show that much leg. Kind of ridiculous, but oh well. I actually kind of like the censored outfit better than the uncensored one, to be truthful though. Next up we have Numa. We won't go into too much detail with her. We don't want to give away too much of the game's story. And of course we have to have Gramps in here. Really love the character of Gramps in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Kind of goes unsung a little bit, but was cool that he was a stage in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Another fan favorite, Nia. Really love both of these designs for Nia. The one on the right is actually getting a statue as well that you can pre-order at this moment. Nia is one of the more expressive characters in Xenoblade 2, and you can see that in some of the sketches here in this book. I'm really happy that they dedicated a few extra pages here for Nia in this section of the book, because Nia doesn't really get enough love, and she is a really great character in this game. And Nia's white tiger cat blade, Dromark. Dromark was really wise, really enjoyed his character, and not what I really expected when I first saw him. And Tora, one of my more favorite Nopon characters. Not really a big fan of some of the Nopons, but Tora was pretty cool. And Tora's blade, Poppy. I really like Poppy. She was an entertaining robotic character. Some robot characters can be kind of bland and dry, but Poppy was pretty funny. I really enjoyed Poppy a lot. And she was one of the more customizable blades in the game, whereas a lot of them kind of had preset conditions and elements. Poppy you could kind of change around a little bit. And we have Poppy's second form, the more maid-like outfit here. Poppy really was one of the more unique designs in Xenoblade 2 and really gave you a lot of options. And Poppy's third form has a little bit more of an anime-ish kind of look to her, and really like all three of her forms, especially this last one, really kind of cool and sleek looking compared to the other two. That really kind of covers a lot of different types of genres of anime in one character. And we have Morag, one of the characters I didn't really think I was going to like that much in the beginning, but really grew on me as the game went on. Really enjoyed Morag, really tough character, and we see some pretty cool designs here of her without her military outfit on, and that's kind of rare to see in the game, so cool to see here. And here we have Morag's blade, Bridget. Bridget had a really cool character design. You see those blue flames on her, they were really coolly animated in the game. Can't really see that in the photos here, but the photos still look really great for Bridget. Really love the character design on her. And who could forget Zeke? Zeke was a little bit more of a goofier character, but he had his moments and his serious side as well. I mainly stuck with Rex though as my attacker. This is Pandoria, Zeke's blade. She's a really cool character. I really liked her design. She's got kind of a light bulb on her head, signifying her lightning abilities. I really thought that was kind of cool. And she had a light bulb tail as well, kind of like a little cord at the end of it. I really liked what they did with her design. This is Van Damme, one of our more muscly, bulky type characters. They did a good job with him and they introduced him really well. And this is Rock, Van Damme's blade, looking kind of like a phoenix, but was actually a wind type. Now that we've gotten through most of the main cast, we're going to be taking a look at some of the various blades in Xenoblade 2. Now, if you haven't played Xenoblade 2, you may be asking yourself, what is a blade? What's a driver? Well, this game works a little bit differently. Drivers are characters that connect with blades, weaponized beings that are summoned by coming in contact with a core crystal. Blades do three main things for their drivers. 1, they provide their driver with elemental powers. 2, a weapon of some type. And 3, some form of companionship. Whether that companionship is positive or negative depends on the relationship and how compatible the blade and the driver are. There are 2 other franchises that I can kind of compare this to. If you're familiar with these 2 franchises, you might get what I mean. One is a video game, Tales of Destiny, that was on the original PlayStation. There was a similar concept there where characters made contracts with different weapons. These weapons, like swords, had their own personalities, but they were only in the form of a weapon, not an actual being or a human form. Similar to Tales of Destiny, also an anime called Shakugan no Shana, an anime that we actually reviewed here on the FeralInferno channel not too long ago. In Shakugan no Shana, there are characters called flame hazes, which are similar to drivers in Xenoblade 2. They make contracts with Crimson Lords that are beings that are in another kind of dimension, but they don't take the form that they normally do in the Crimson world. They take the form of something like a pendant or a tiara, or maybe even something that they'd wear on their wrist, but not their actual forms. Whereas in Xenoblade 2, you see their actual forms, and they also appear as an object with the weapons as well that they provide. These blades are sometimes obtained through the story or through side quests, but more often they are obtained through random core crystals that you'll find that kind of is a gacha mechanic. You never know what kind of blade you're going to get from these core crystals. It's always at random, but the more rare and legendary core crystal you find, the more likely you're going to receive a rare and more powerful blade as a result. They did a nice job with a lot of these blades and their designs. They even have a throwback to the Xenosaga games with Cosmos. That was a really nice touch to add her, but I remember her being really rare. One of my favorites was Herald, this young lady that is in this big dragon mechanized armor, really awesome and quite powerful. You may not like every design or powers from each of the blades, but there are so many that you'll find something that you'll like. There were also a few DLC blades as well, and I really liked them, especially the Poppy Buster. That was a really cool one and really great for whoever your tank character would be. As I started Xenoblade 2, later than the launch, I already had these DLC blades available pretty quickly to me in the game, and they were definitely a really big help. We also see some appearances from some previous Xenoblade games with Shulk and a couple others as well. I won't get into what their roles were, but it was pretty cool to see them added to the game in some way, shape, or form that didn't really, break or hurt the story. Now we're going to take a look at some of the rogue gallery, some of the villains, and we got Jin. Jin was an interesting character. He always reminded me of kind of Colonel Zex from Gundam Wing. We got Malos here, who kind of stole my haircut. Hey man, I rocked that first, Malos. Man, why you gotta do that? Why you gotta steal my style, man? We got Akos. I wasn't really a big fan of this guy. He was a little annoying, but, not too bad. But hey, he's a villain, so I guess that's good. And we have Petroka here, villainess. We didn't have too many of those in the game. Most of the antagonists were male. Her partner, Mikal, who had a role in both Xenoblade 2 games in the Torna Golden Country. And we can take a look at some of the blades from these villains as well. They were pretty cool, and they were kind of intimidating too in battle, especially this guy here with the multiple blades. He could be pretty dangerous. Speaking of intimidating, what rogues gallery is complete without the big, bruising, big armor type character? And we've also got this ninja type character who really reminds me a lot of Shadow from Final Fantasy VI. And Praetor Amalthus, man, this character was really deep. Always kind of wondered what his motivations were, what role he was playing. Really enjoyed that character. And we see some Nopons here as well. There were a lot of Nopons in the game, just like most Xenoblade games have. And also we have another Poppy-like blade character. You can see her, she's in a maid outfit. And we have the young king of Mor Ordain. He was okay, he was a little bit of annoying, honestly. And we see some more other NPC type characters here as well. The cast in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is just beyond massive, and they're not just filler NPC characters. A lot of these characters had their own character development as well. Really intriguing. The world building in Xenoblade 2 is really something you just have to experience. They did an amazing job just sucking you into this world. Here we have Laura, the main protagonist of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country. Really cool that they included this. When I got this book, I didn't realize that we'd see some Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country characters in here. I thought it'd just be the main game, but I was really impressed and surprised to see these characters added to the book. Really nice touch. Which did you like better, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 the main game, or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country prequel story? I've heard people like both. I personally liked the main game better, but I loved both games. They were both terrific. The biggest difference for me between the two games was the length of the story and the game. The main game, I got nearly 300 hours out of it, whereas Torna the Golden Country, I got maybe 50 to 60 hours out of that adventure. 50-60 hours isn't necessarily short for a game, but in comparison to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 the main game, certainly felt a little shorter, but still a full game and a full experience. Now we're taking a look at some of the designs from the townsfolk and other NPC type characters. Characters that didn't really play too much of a role, but cool to see them here. I really like this lineup of characters here. Really cool to see all the different heights of all the different characters from the different Xenoblade games. Whenever I see one of these little height graphics, I always think to myself, wow, they really put a lot of time and effort into this game to get every detail just right. And what video game art book is complete without taking a look at some of the weapons? Nice to see our little weapons gallery here to show some of the various types of weapons and the different weapons that you could get in the game. Axes, spears, swords, chakrams, little gauntlet hand claw things, hammers. They've got it all in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Really love the variety of weapons, even this little dodgeball type weapon. Really loved it. Another favorite section of this book is the world section. Really like looking at this section a lot. Looking at all the different environments and towns and places that you would visit. All the different titans as well. Oh, just really terrific. They put so much into this game. I loved every single area that you went to in this game. They all had their own music, their own design, their own flavor. They did a tremendous job just with the world building in this game. From those that have played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, what was your favorite titan that you went to visit? What was your favorite area? For me, I always thought Urea was the really nicest looking one of all of them, but my favorite to visit was probably Gormat, the more typical area, but had really great music, and I liked the luscious green backgrounds as well. As you can see, a lot of thought and a lot of design went into each and every area that you visited in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It really is breathtaking and quite amazing, everything that they accomplished in this game with a small amount of time that, from what I heard, that they developed this game. I remember when it first was revealed, many people were not pleased with the graphics. Monolith Soft went back to the drawing board a little bit, and they really improved the visuals of the game and made it look really incredible. Sometimes fan feedback can really help a game. Sometimes it can hurt a game, but in this case, it really helped Xenoblade Chronicles 2. With how amazing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was, I can't wait to see what they can do with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm really anticipating this game, and I have really high hopes for it. I have a lot of faith in Monolith Soft after playing Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and also Torna the Golden Country. Just looking at the artwork and photos in this book while listening to the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 soundtrack, it's given me goosebumps this entire time. And the sense of nostalgia for a game that's not that old is really quite incredible. And this book didn't forget all the little standard enemies as well, and some of the larger standard enemies. There were a lot of different sizes and types of enemies in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, going all the way back to the prehistoric age and to a more futuristic age as well. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Chrono Trigger without the time travel mechanic of Chrono Trigger, where you kind of get to see a little bit of everything. There's even an arcade game here in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now that I'm seeing this arcade again, I kind of want to get one for my game room. I don't know how that's going to work out, but hey, you never know. They show off some of the key items and some not so key items and furniture in the game. Nice little touch to add this towards the end of the book, just to show us everything that was in the game and all the art and design that went into it. This book really covers it all, and I think it's actually a vast improvement over the special edition book. The extra section of the book is screenshots. Be very careful, there are spoilers in this section, so you have been warned. Turn back now or forever hold your peace. They picked some really nice, beautiful screenshots from the game, some really iconic images from it. These bring back a lot of memories, and yeah, I'm glad they included this in their book. It's not a huge section of the book, and it's nice just to show, like, hey, there's the art that had the design of the game, and here's the art of the actual game in play. Because the visuals in this game were just tremendous. One of my favorite looking games I've ever seen. And that's about it for the book. There's a lot of Japanese text here that I can't read, so we're gonna just kind of skip ahead here because I can't read a thing here. But there was a cool little design here I thought I'd just show you over the text and credits. And of course we have the art from our cover here at the end and our awesome back cover. Look at this artwork of our characters sleeping at the campsite. Really beautiful. And I can't thank you enough for joining us for this art book viewing of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This was amazing. I really enjoyed this import, and thanks so much to my friend who gave me this book for Christmas this past year. Really excellent Christmas gift and one of my favorite gifts of last year. Thanks for joining, and let me know about your memories with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'd love to hear them in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.